Western Cape now, where the Education Department is facing an admissions crisis. The Equal Education Law Centre has instituted litigation against the department that's over unplaced learners in the Metro's East District. Let's talk to Executive Director of the Centre, Tshegofatso Phala. Tshegofatso, good morning and thank you very much for your time. Talk to me about this urgent application that you brought. What exactly is the story with, in particular, the 7 learners?
Good morning. Thanks. As you know, at the beginning of every year, there really is a large number, thousands of unplaced learners, particularly within the Western Cape, which has been facing for a number of years a crisis around unplaced learners. We're, however, concerned because we're currently sitting in the second term, and at the Equal Education Law Centre, we're continuing to have parents knocking at our doors who have still not found places in schools. We've brought litigation in particular on behalf of 7 parents who have been trying to get placements in school from as early as February of this year. And what's happening in a particular district in the Western Cape is that many parents from as early as February have simply been told that schools are oversubscribed, particularly in the Khayelitsha area, and that they should wait for next year in order for their children to be placed. Or some are simply just their numbers are being written down and they don't hear anything else from, anything further from the district. And so we're concerned that aside from the 7 parents who we've instituted urgent litigation on behalf of, that in fact there are other learners who are simply sitting in their Khayelitsha area without placement in schools and without any sort of assistance from the department.
Tshegofatso, when you say a certain district, just for confirmation and clarity, it is the East District that you speak of?
Yes, the Metro East District.
Okay. And then now, with the Metro East District, were you able to engage them to establish if perhaps after telling them that they oversubscribed, that there were alternatives and maybe that the parents didn't accept those alternatives for whatever reason?
No. So often we are told that learners are out of school because parents haven't accepted alternatives. That's a separate issue. But what does happen in the Metro East District and in the Western Cape is that many parents go to schools in the areas, and the schools tell them that they're full and that they can't take on any more learners. In terms of the South African Schools Act, the MEC in every province is supposed to ensure that there are sufficient places in their province in order to accommodate all learners. It's clear that currently there aren't sufficient places to accommodate all learners. The district, so the Metro East District, each district is then supposed to administer admissions of learners and are supposed to assist parents in instances where parents are unable to find placement. Our particular group of parents are parents who then go to the district seeking assistance, but instead of getting assistance or even being given alternative schools to go to, they're simply being told there are no places, come back next year. What this means is that we're having children who are supposed to have an immediately realizable right to education simply being told we won't help you, or we won't even try, or we won't even register your name somewhere so that we can get back to you if a school does become available. Parents are being told, go back home, come back next year.
Is this now only confined to just the capacity issue where there's not enough schools in the Western Cape, or it's also perhaps attributed to challenges with the online application system?
I think it's twofold. It's parents. We've said before for years now as the Equal Education Law Centre that the online application system is not accessible to all. I mean, in the group of 7 parents we're dealing with, most of these parents don't have smartphones, are not employed, and we're not aware of the online system. And so that's why a lot of them then go to schools physically in order to try and get a school placement, and then they find themselves without any placement. The other issue is bad administrative processes, and where you're having the districts not even registering the names of who's unplaced. They don't have proper records of how many learners are unplaced. And so when you're not keeping proper records, it's very hard to then keep up with the demand or even adequately plan for what demand looks like.
So insofar as the litigation is concerned, you've already petitioned the courts. This matter will be heard soon.
Yes, so it's an urgent application. The urgent application will be heard on the 23rd, so next week, Monday. And the idea with the application is to get the immediate placement of the 7 learners along with appropriate catch-up plans. But what we're also asking the court to do is to order that the Western Cape Education Department, particularly the Metro East District, do an audit of how many learners within the Metro East District are still sitting at home without any school places, and then to come up with plans to deal with that issue and to ensure that those learners are placed, but also to come up with plans for next year, because we honestly can't be sitting with this year in and year out.
No, certainly it must be resolved immediately. Thank you very much. That's Equal Education's Law Centre's Tshegofatso Phala.